I'm your girl, Andrea Joyce, and I'm coming with a message for you. Yes, I'm driving, but I promise you, my eyes are on the road and my focus is on this word. Today, I want to talk to you about your value. Your value is very important. And here's the thing, all of us have value. We do, however, have different levels of value. Doesn't make anybody more valuable than someone else or less valuable than someone else. It's just the way that you're valued. And you need to know your value, your worth, that you're priceless, so that you can stand up for yourself. So you don't fall for things that people say about you. When they negative talk or say what you aren't, you can tell them what you are. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to speak on it, because there's some things you don't have to argue about. There's some things you don't have to defend yourself for, because God is your best defender. Not only that, everybody doesn't need to know your worth, but you need to know your worth. So today I wanted to talk to you about being the jewel. And I want to talk to my jewels that are in the vault. Here's the thing. When you go to a jewelry store, or you go to any store, well, no, a jewelry store, let me use that. You walk in, there are jewelry that's on the floor. You know how you can turn around in that spindle and you can select jewelry that way. It's costume jewelry. Some of the costume jewelry might be 99 cents. Then you have some costume jewelry that's a little more expensive. It might be 30, 40, 50, 60, even $100, but it's still costume jewelry. Then you go further in and you'll see the jewels that are under the glass. The jewels that are under the glass are expensive. They're not 99 cents. A lot of them are not even $100. But here's the thing, even though they're protected by the glass, no one can just reach and touch them. Someone has to open that glass door with the key to let someone touch it. Everybody can see it. Everybody sees its value. They see the price tag. They see the shape. They see the form. They see the clarity. They see all of that through the glass. But there's a certain type of jewel that's not on the turnstile spindle thing. There's a certain jewel that's not under the glass for everyone to peruse and look at and judge. There's a jewel that's in the vault. And the only way you get to see that jewel is by appointment with the correct credentials. You got to have ID. You can't just say, I'm Jimmy from the street. Let me see your jewels in the vault. That's not going to happen. It depends on your name, because there are some names that are so big and so important. When the owners hear it, they are like, oh, yes, yes, make this ready for Miss So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, because we know who he is. And you need the permission of the owner. If you work in the store, you can't just go to the vault. You don't even have access to the vault. The owners have access to the vault and certain managers. So, what I want to say to you today is there are some of us that are jewels that are in the vault. Everybody can't see us, and it's okay. There will be people in your life that will see you but not see your worth. And it's okay. They're not supposed to. They're not qualified to see your value. They're not qualified to see your worth. They're not going to be a part of your lives that long. They're not going to be able to get from you all you have to offer. And that's all right, because they wouldn't know how to handle it. Imagine having someone who doesn't know anything about jewels getting a jewel from the vault. They might drop it. They may dirty it up, because you do know that when the caretaker, let's call him or her, takes the jewel out of the vault, they usually wear gloves because they don't want to stain the jewel. They don't want to mishandle it. They don't want to mess with its clarity and its condition. When they give it to the person, they use this special tool to pick the jewel up. I'm talking about jewels. I'm not talking about being placed in rings and I'm talking about the jewel itself, the diamond, the sapphire, the pure jewel. And they place it in a person's hands. But before the person can touch it, they got to wash their hands. Their hands have to be clean and dried off. And then the jewel is placed in their hand and they can look at it. And they have the glass that they can look at to see the clarity, the purity of the jewel. And once they're done, the caretaker carefully wipes the jewel off, puts it back on that velvet laden tray. And he doesn't leave it out. He goes back and, or she goes back and they put it in the vault and lock the vault back up. Everyone is not supposed to handle you. Everyone cannot handle you, truth be told. I like to say this a lot. I am a strong cup of black coffee because I'm strong and a lot of people can't handle who I am. And that's okay. It's okay because I am who I am. God created me to be who I be. Yeah, I know that's not grammatically correct, but it's going to be correct today. And that's okay because I'm not for everybody and everybody is not for me. You do realize there are 8 billion people in the world, and in those 8 billion people in the world, there are those that are going to be attracted to you, those that are going to care for you, those that are going to love you, those that are going to be in love with you. But even at that, everyone cannot handle you. They're not supposed to. There are some people who are going to have to love you from a distance. There are some people who are going to have to maintain a platonic relationship with you. There are some people who are just going to have to be admirers. There are some people who are just going to have to be friends. There are some people who can't even be a part of your life. You are that jewel. I am a vaulted jewel. I am that jewel that you have to seek and ask the owner if you can come to me, if you can handle me, if you can be a part of my life, if you can see me. And that owner is God. God is who will ultimately let a person know if they need to be in your life, if they can handle being in your life, if they are qualified to be in your life. So I want you to know your worth today. Stop allowing people to diminish your value. You do realize that when you get jewels, they don't decline in price. They rise in price. Their value goes up. You have a jewel for 20 years, you might have purchased it for $30,000, but after 20 years, it's worth 70. Depends on the climate of the market. Your value goes up. So don't ever let anybody put you down. You know your worth. And your situation does not determine your value. You may have dropped out of school. That does not determine your value. You may be divorced. That doesn't determine your value. You may be a single parent. That does not determine your value. So stop letting people determine what your value is. And stop letting the wrong people handle you, putting their fingerprints all over you, speaking over you, saying what you are and aren't. Don't give people that power or authority, because who are they to qualify you? God qualifies man. Yeah, you could have a college degree. You could have 5 of them, and that's great. But there's some doors that will not open because you have a college degree. There's some rooms that you're going to walk into that your millions are not opening the door for. It's because God qualified you. God valued you and gave you your value. He validated you. He affirmed and confirmed you. So I need you to understand and be that jewel behind the vault. Be that jewel that people have to get permission from God to even look at you and see you. Because I want you to understand that just because people see your outer appearance doesn't mean they actually see you. They don't see your thoughts. They don't see your heart. They don't see your drive. They don't see your motivation. They don't see that. Some people have to ask permission. They have to be qualified themselves in order for them to see who you really are. And when they do, then let them value you for who you are and who you are going to be. Not try to keep you down on a level that you might be going through right now. Because there's some situations and circumstances that we go through that are temporary. Sometimes when we fall, it's just for a moment. We get back up. And when we get back up, we go hard and we go for what we are supposed to be attaining. And so I say to you today, know your worth, know your value. Be that jewel behind the vault. Nothing wrong with being a jewel on the turnstile. Nothing wrong with being the jewel under the glass. But there are some of us, it's not good enough. I want to be the jewel behind the vault. I want you to need a special code to get to me. I want you to need a special key that everybody doesn't carry to get to me. I want to be the jewel that you got to ask God if you can really see who I am. I want to be the jewel that God has qualified to be in the vault. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. And remember your worth. And don't let anybody diminish it. Have a great